New home sales have surged by 90%. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we're going to have a look at the HIA new home sales data that's just come out a few days ago for March, everyone. It's up 90%, guys. So this obviously is the home builder effect starting to taper off, just the rush at the end. So if we have a look here, new home sales up 90%. We can see, I've got this chart from TradingView, we can see the spike up right at the end of home builder. I mean, there you go. Look at this. Look at these numbers, everyone. Let's just consider this, 8,000 with change. Even 8,000 is still pretty high. Probably more like 7,000 down the middle here would be average. Okay, home builder is having an effect, everyone. This is heating up the market. This is what happens when the government throws money at any sector. Things will get hotter. People will be rushed off their feet. I'm on the phone to certifiers or house raisers. They're telling me they've never seen it this busy. Last time it was this busy was at the GFC, and it's like they've decimated expectations. So the trading economic forecast for this data was at 20%. It's 90%, guys. The month before, the forecast was dropping down to the forecast was 2%, and it was 22%. In January, the forecast was -3, and it was -70. In December, it was 1.3%, and the actual was 91%. It's just going nuts, everyone. It's just going nuts. Look at this market. Look at these movements. This is not normal. This isn't smooth. So let's have a look at the excerpt from the HIA, the monthly update on new home sales. So new home sales surge in March to reach the second strongest level since 2004, behind December 2020. New home sales soared in March 2021 to be 90.3% higher than February as the second and final phase of the home builder grant closed. A surge in sales was observed following the announcement of HomeBuilder in June 2020. HomeBuilder, combined with low interest rates, changing population dynamics, and improving market confidence, led to strong sales throughout the end of 2020. In December 2020, there was a near record volume of new home sales as households rushed to finalize contracts to build a new home before the end of the $25,000 grant. This same effect can be seen in March as households rushed to get access to the $15,000 grant. Well, yeah, the one saving grace out of this is that the politicians, they've extended the time frame for when you can start the construction. That, I think, is a good thing. I mean, they're giving all this money away anyway. If they're more compressed, they force people to start construction, the greater the risk there would be of dodgy work going on, of people cutting corners, of it overheating. Stretching out a bit further is sensible. So I commend our politicians for doing that. But this just shows you guys, housing is the piñata for the politicians. We saw it in the GFC. We saw the Rudd response. There was the fat bat disaster. Remember, people died for that. People died to put insulation in houses to make it slightly cooler for people. Just think about, how would you feel if someone died in your house for that? This is the problem. Because they rushed it. They wanted to, it was all nice. Everyone will be happy and it'll save the environment. If you look at the actually embodied energy, here's the thing. This is why I'm such a skeptical bastard with all this stuff. At university, we had all of the greenwashing. In architecture, you just cop it really hard as an architecture student. But when you actually look at the sums, look at the embodied energy, look at the time frames to pay back these things, you realize it's kind of stupid. Yeah, let's spend all this extra money adding this stuff into a house, which will take 50 to 60 years to get back. So it's tokenistic, a lot of things. I mean, I don't have any... Don't get me wrong, I'm not against people upgrading their houses to save energy uses or to have better quality of life, but it should be an individual choice. It shouldn't be mandated by the state. But anyway. While the number of sales in March did not reach the same height as December, it was still the second strongest monthly result since 2004. Over the year to March 2021, sales increased by 42.6% compared with the previous year, which was mostly prior to the impacts of the pandemic. This indicates a strong level of building activity would occur into 2021 and into 2022, providing employment to the construction sector and supporting the wider economy. HomeBuilder brought forward demand for new homes. As a consequence, sales over the coming months are expected to cool from recent highs. Since the onset of the pandemic, a significant shift has occurred in consumer preference towards detached houses and regional locations. Preliminary migration data shows more Australians left the capital cities in each of the first 3 quarters of 2021 than at any other time since records began in 2001. Well, sorry, first 3 quarters of 2020. So it's the same thing that's happening in the States. It's the same thing that's happening everywhere. People are fleeing the cities. They're getting out of the cities. This involves an acceleration of retirement plans and fewer people moving to urban centres to work or education. Working from home arrangements have helped to facilitate this change in consumer preference. This demographic shift in population will continue to drive demand for new detached homes. Recent strong house price growth has also sparked FOMO in buyers, which will continue to support the industry. Sales in the March 2021 quarter increased across all the 5 largest jurisdictions compared to the same time the previous year. South Australia was up by 90.6%, followed by Queensland at 54.9% and Victoria at 41.9%. New South Wales increased by 24.7% and Western Australia is up by 15.2% over the same period. And this is the excerpt from HIA. And they actually provide some decent economic data. I was always jealous as an architect what the Royal Australian Institute of Architects did, now called the AAA. I was quite frustrated. They didn't actually have any economists on staff, any analysis, nothing like this. It all seemed very tokenistic what they were doing. So, and this is the methodology. Each month, HIA surveys the largest 100 home builders in Australia on their sales, contract to buy volume for the previous month. These builders account for 40% of all houses built in Australia. This sample is used to extrapolate results for the rest of the market, including a seasonal adjustment. Okay, so that gives us a bit of understanding. And if you'd like to see the full report, I will link to HIA and you can get the full report. You can buy it there, or if you're a member, you probably already have it. 90%, everyone, completely beating expectations. Now, this is because of HomeBuilder. Okay, don't kid yourself. These are the numbers. Queensland, we're at 26,000 because our housing's more affordable. New South Wales, only 23. Victoria, 35,000. Victoria, which had the hardest lockdowns in the country, has the biggest take-up of HomeBuilder. I remember, because I grew up in Victoria up until, before we moved to Queensland, and my father had a construction company that did a lot of renovation work there. He seemed to, I remember he was saying that renovations are more common and extensions are more common in Victoria than in Queensland, at least what we noticed. People were more likely to sell and move here, where in Victoria they were more likely to extend. Northern Territory only had 376 people, 12,000 in SA, 17,000 in WA, and 3,600 in good old Tassie. Now, what are the solutions? Well, you've got to remember, everyone, nothing is for free. Nothing is for free. This government money is going to materialize in an increase in our national debt, public debt, state and federal level. Okay? Approaching 1.3 trillion. Just don't forget that when people are calling for this. But the problem is, you'll have, now the Liberal Party can in no way criticize Labor for doing such rampant stimulus spending to activate the economy. The precedent's been set. What's going to happen at the next election? What's going to happen at the next time when there calls for such huge intervention? You tell me. The next election is going to be interesting. There are going to be a lot of people in the construction industry that are going to be very happy with ScoMo. They may vote one way at a state level, but we'll see how they vote at a federal level. What do you reckon? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can sign up for SelfWealth or Stake that helps us with the share trading, or Independent Reserve for your crypto traders. You can buy our merch. We have pocket squares, handmade. And I found that stein. I have to go get it. It's upstairs. Or you can use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint or help us out with PayPal. Take care. Have a great day. and watch out for those house sales. Talk to you next time.